Yo, what's good? Hey, I appreciate y'all being patient. Your boy had was running a little bit late, but this video is going to be interesting because we really gonna get a 2-for-1. Okay, we're gonna get a 2-for-1 on today's video. Okay, the first thing we got to talk about is definitely finance related, and when I was looking at these two topics, one is a financial lesson we can learn from an entertainer that I thought was interesting and dope. The other lesson is just some crazy ass tomfoolery that I gotta react to. I thought about doing that one first, but I said, nah. If I'm gonna do a 2-for-1 video, let me give the people what they came to see. So we're gonna talk about Cedric the Entertainer, a little bit of finances. Then for the folks who stick around, I'm gonna give my reaction to a video that's going around, circulating around the internet about this guy who is going on this date with this chick and she refuses to go to Cheesecake Factory. Why is it a big deal with the Cheesecake Factory? But I saw that, I was like, you know what, we got to talk about it because I do have a interesting take and opinion on it. And now I'm looking for, man, I lost my prop. Did I take it out of here? I lost my prop. I can't find my daggone prop, but I do got an opinion and take on that. But first, we're gonna always get to the money. Then we're gonna talk about this viral video and what's wrong with the Cheesecake Factory. How can somebody be too good for the Cheesecake Factory? That makes no sense to DFD. If you're new to the channel, I'm Marcus, the Debt Free Dad, where we're talking finances, current events, attorney reactions. Definitely hit the subscribe button, become a member of the family. We appreciate the support. And also hit the like button so that this content can get out to more people. Now, this not really an attorney reaction video because you always gonna get an attorney reaction because I'm an attorney. Like I've been doing it for over a decade. That's just what I do. But this isn't really focused on the legalities, so to speak. It's more focused on the finances and family and how you deal with finances and family. Hey, I always gotta throw the disclaimer before I start. I am a licensed attorney in multiple places, but none of those places amount to me being your lawyer. So this isn't legal or financial advice. It's infotainment purposes only. If you need help with anything, seek a professional. Don't seek a professional who's on YouTube unless you know them personally and you pay the retainer and all of that good stuff. But generally, stay away from the talking heads, even if it's your boy. All right. So I think we all know who Cedric the Entertainer is. Cedric the Entertainer, hey, one of the original kings of comedy, had multiple TV shows. He actually has a show on Amazon that I've been watching called Neighbors. Is actually pretty decent. It's a little kind of reverse racist though, but that's a whole nother story. But he has a show on Amazon that's pretty on Amazon Prime. That's actually a pretty decent show once I started watching it. But we all familiar with Cedric the Entertainer. One of the things that is going to fall on your head if you are a person who's watching any type of finance content, whether it's my finance content, somebody else's finance content. If you're watching finance content, you're probably a person who's relatively aware of what's going on with their money. You're probably a person who's actually trying to make their situation better. What happens when you make your financial situation better? You get a lot of this. everybody put their Everybody put their paws out. Everybody think you owe them something. They think, hey, remember that time back in the day when I did XYZ? Everybody is going to want their hands out. And I'm going to just be honest. I think that's kind of disrespectful personally. You know what I mean? Like, hey, I'll tell this story. I think it's disrespectful when you ask, I don't care what financial situation the person is in, but if they're like regular person well off. See, Cedric the Entertainer well off is completely different. But I generally think it's disrespectful if you're a regular person well off and you don't take into consideration the other person's, situation in their position. Prime example, okay? If you reach out to me and it's not related to like content, or I expressly don't tell you to reach out to me on social media, generally, if I know you, like I see you all the time, don't reach out to me on social media. I'm not answering the Facebook call or Instagram poke, whatever the hell they call. I'm not doing it, right? But I had a family member reach out to me And I could tell the tone that someone will send in a message to ask for money is the exact same way that they'll talk to you. Hey, I got a question I wanted to ask, and so soon soon as I saw the message and I engaged in the conversation, I knew where it was going to go. And before he could even ask, I was like, I hope you're not about to ask for money because I don't loan out money. But the thing that made it disrespectful is, yo, all right, we all adults. I got that. Some people are well off and better than others. I got all that, and it wasn't that. It's the fact that you're a grown adult who's single, asking somebody to borrow money who has a family and children and other obligations. I'm like, bro, come on now. Like, whatever you think my financial position is not that because I actually got obligations. If it was just me, I don't know. Maybe this is just me. I think generally is a little bit easier when the only person you got to worry about is yourself. But it's borderline disrespectful. So generally, you're gonna get a bunch of greasy, sweaty palms coming out wanting to borrow some money. So Cedric the Entertainer knew that was coming down the road. This guy's on TV. When people see you on TV, they're gonna say, "Hey," they're gonna impute income. They assuming you just baller. The same way if it's a profession, if you're an attorney, you could be making $40,000 a year after graduation. Speaking from example, and everybody gonna think you well off because you're an attorney. You're like, bro, I'm a public defender. I'm broke as hell. But everybody in Cedric's family thought that he was making a lot of money. They all thought that he was baller. So essentially, what that means is everybody had their hands out. So Cedric had an idea that I thought was actually a great idea. He started what is the equivalent of a living trust. You know, you can have a trust set up that operates and distribute money and does all of these things while you're still actually around walking on earth. You don't necessarily have to kick the bucket to have a trust in place to take care of people. So what Cedric the Entertainer decided to do was he said, I'm going to create a family fund. This family fund that he created, hey, I wanted to say shout out to sis for tuning in. I saw you up there, but I get a little one track mind sometimes. So I was like, let me get to my point before I address you. But I definitely appreciate you tuning in. And so essentially, he said, you know what? Rather than everybody kept asking him early on for money, and he found himself giving out all these monies and big ass checks. So he said, you know what? I'm going to create an unofficial family trust. I'm going to take $25,000 and put it into a fund. He had his sister manage this fund. And family members can go to this fund. They actually had to apply. It was an application process. And this fund was there so that they can get help with a mortgage payment, get money for books, maybe cover that one tuition for the semester that's $3,000, $4,000. It was a fund that he created just for his family to help them get over the financial hump. He thought, which I think was smart. If I do this, this will probably provide more help than me just cutting checks to random people all the time. And they're going to want to come back to the well anyway. So he created this $25,000 fund. He had his sister running it. She was the person taking the applications and evaluating the criteria. I'm talking about they watched like no, if you needed money for school, they're not cutting you a check. Okay, you've been approved. Give us the information so we can send the funds to your tuition. That's actually a smart way of doing it so you can make sure nobody trying to finesse because, hey, even family members will try to finesse or run a play, as they call it, on you. And this fund actually got replenished every year. So it wasn't just $25,000 and like, y'all leave me alone. He did this for numerous years. Every year he put a new $25,000 in. And on the Breakfast Club, he said that he had to put an abrupt end to this fund. Now, the first thing I thought was like, damn, he put an end to it. This had to be terrible. And it immediately made me think of a Jay-Z clip that kind of went viral last week. It was an old clip where he talked about how his family always asked him for money, how they gonna flip it with all these whack-ass business ventures. But Cedric the Entertainer had to put an end to it because bottom line, people was greedy as hell. They were really unappreciative of the fund. They wanted more money. They wanted them to put more money in the fund. They wanted to be able to get larger amounts. And he said, you know what? Since y'all ungrateful asses are ungrateful with this $25,000 that I'm putting in every year. How about I give y'all 25,000 of absolutely nothing? And so that's what he did. I think that that was a real smart move or his part. Uh, Me personally, I'm liking the sound of this. I'm thinking that's I mean, hey, what's wrong with an application process? Like, if someone is going to ask you for their hard-earned money, for your hard-earned money for a business venture or for, I just need a loan. If they go to any other bank or any other person to ask for money, they got to fill out a whole damn application, get a background check, a credit check. So I don't see what the hell is wrong with you asking for the same thing. Like, I don't know. Like, I just think it's crazy that his family was that damn ridiculous that they were like, $25,000 a year, not enough. He said they wanted money up front. Just give me $20,000 up front and I never come back. So I think that's wild. Family and money do not mix at all. It just doesn't mix at all. Hey, I know I had a situation where a family member wanted me to, help them, kind of get their budget and everything in order. So we did that. They were making progress. And so, when it comes to saving money, they were like, you know what? And I don't know, I'm not opposed to having like, okay, like if I wanted to send like my folks some money or something, I got their account information. I could just go ahead and online transfer it from my bank to theirs, right? But this individual was like, hey, put your information on this account that I'm opening up, and that's where I'm gonna stash my money in. And initially, my initial reaction is like, oh yeah, cool, it's all good. We was in business before, but then I had to think about that shit. I was like, hell no, I ain't doing that because you know what's gonna happen. People going, they going think they put something in there that's not in there, or they're gonna ask for money throughout the year. Then when you tell them what's in there, they saying it's not in there. So I came to the conclusion is I'm not helping anybody. I'm not any helping anybody. Like, if you want some advice, I got you. If somebody come to me and they actually like, yo, I'm down, I need a couple of dollars. If you have a track record of taking care of shit, I'm probably gonna give it to you because I don't loan money. But if you like, like if one of my best friends reach out to me and like, hey man, let me hold something XYZ, I'm not even gonna ask what's for. Because I know that this dude hold down his business. I know if he asking me for it, is a real thing. If I got it to give or whatever I had to give, I'm gonna just give it to him. That's a lot different from the person who always got a damn hard situation. If you always got a hard money situation, the problem ain't the money, the problem is you. That's just kind of my thought. I thought that was a smart idea too. I thought it was a good way to do it. I think he said it only lasted like 5 or 6 years before people ended up getting greedy as hell. But and it's funny how we look at money. Like, okay, if someone abuses something, like, all right, like if let's say, hey, knock on wood, I don't want this on nobody, but let's say DFD's mama DFD had a substance abuse problem, right? If she had a substance abuse problem and was, abusing, I don't care, prescription drugs, you name a drug, she was abusing it. I wouldn't fix it or try to help her. I mean, unless I'm like, a character off of Power or something. But I wouldn't be like, hey, mom, you know how I'm gonna help you? I'm gonna help you by giving you some more crack. No, that's not how you do it. But when it comes to money, if you got a parent, a sibling, a child who's misbehaving with money and they're abusing it and probably taking a little bit of advantage of you, you wouldn't give that person crack to help fix them abusing drugs, but people continue to give them. I know you messing your money up and you abuse your finances, but I'm gonna fix that by giving you more money to. That's kind of not how it works. So I think he learned a valuable lesson. A lot of times, the best way to help people is to say no. Figure that shit out on your own. Again, not saying DFD is not going to help nobody. I'm not saying I'm actually a very kind-hearted, generous person, but I'm generous with who I want to be generous with. I'm not generous with everybody. Plus, people who ask all the time, I never give them anything. Like, no. I know people who like every time they see something, they ask like, "Oh, you should do this or you should do that," and I just be like, and I don't do anything. But people who never ask me for nothing, if they randomly be like, "Oh man, that look comfortable. I wish I had one of those," I'll actually get it because in my head I'm like, "Man, they never asked for anything." So they never asked for nothing. I want to do something nice for them. So that's kind of always been my approach. It's sad that family feels entitled to stuff you work for. I don't mind helping when I see you helping yourself, but I don't enable anyone. I agree with it. I used to always have a running joke, and one of my homegirls had me rolling, right? And it maybe because I created the situation that kind of led to this, right? I don't know. Ladies, y'all correct me if I'm wrong, but this may be an unpopular opinion, right? But I remember vividly growing up in church. I was in church all the time, a gazillion times a week. That's why when I got to college, I became a heathen. But that's a whole nother video, right? But I can remember growing up in church, and my mother would always tell me, like, hey, when you get married and have your family always comes first. They take your priority over your wife, your kids take priority over anybody else, right? And so I remember when I was in college. I left. I went to the military. It was just me, and I was single. And in the military, you don't make a lot of money, but you don't have no bills. Or I didn't have any bills or expenses at the time. So whenever I would come home, I would just always just do stuff for my moms because like that's moms. I'm always doing stuff for moms. Like, okay, let's go somewhere. Here you go. Here, I just give her money just to give it to her because that was mom. And it was just me. I had no obligations. Now, fast forward, DFD get married and have kids. Hey, Mama DFD was kind of expecting those same. Mama DFD was expecting those same things, and I was like, I had to look at it. I was like, nah, it ain't like that. You the one that told me I got to take care over here first. Now, if I can help with something, that's one thing. But just asking to be asking just because you want to ask, that's crazy. I don't know. I don't feel like I have an obligation to take care of anyone outside of the people under my covering. And I think, I said this before, I don't ever want to be a burden on my parents, and I don't ever want to be a burden on my kids. So what that means to me is I got to make sure I got my shit in order so that I'm not a financial burden on them in any event. Now I understand anomalies, illnesses, that's a whole different separate type of thing. But my mother had gotten used to me just doing a lot for her because when I was just single, I ain't had nothing else to do with my money. So when I come home, I might as well give her some or take her out and do a lot of nice things for her. And it was funny because I was telling somebody about this, and I was like, I don't understand because she the one who told me when you get married that your family come first. And they were like, yeah, when she said your family come first, she included herself in that. But it was cool. We came to a great resolution to resolve it, but it was just one of those things that was really weird. I think I kind of, went from always doing for then abruptly stopping right away. And I think that shit was like a culture shock to her. But, bottom line is, hey, there's nothing wrong with taking care of your family. But like you said, like everybody said in the comments, family has to take care of themselves. If you aren't to doing anything to change your position, I shouldn't be. If I'm the person who's most concerned about your success, you probably not gonna have a lot of success. So that's kind of how that goes. So hey, sometimes saying no or just saying hey I can't do it is the best thing, and just be straightforward. Like I don't know, I don't like people who lollygag around. Like nah. Before, like I said, before you even ask me the question, because I know the universal three sentences probably throughout any culture that are asked before someone borrows money is, hey, I need to ask you something. Anytime somebody start out with like, hey, I need to ask you something, I'm like, oh shit. I already know that it is about to be something wild. It's saying I already know that it's about to be something wild. All right, now this next part, okay. Now that we got the money stuff out of the way, and I left my blue cap hat because I think this is cap, but we got to talk about it. I don't know if y'all seen the video that's kind of going viral with the guy on a date with this sister, and she's having a fit about him taking her to Cheesecake Factory. Even though me personally, I don't like Cheesecake Factory, but I don't think it's the worst place in the world. I just kind of was a little upset that the cheesecake at the Cheesecake Factory was trash, and now I'm just jaded. But there's a whole video that's going viral. Now, I don't know if this video is real or if this video is fake. Anytime I see something on the internet, I immediately call cap. That's why I was looking for my patented blue hat, but I moved it out of here in anticipation for this and didn't bring it back in. But I'm gonna call cap. But I want y'all to take a look at this video because we got to talk a little bit about this. Okay, we're gonna assume for purposes of me giving a take on this that this video is a real video, and we're gonna talk about it. And after we talk about this video too, I'm gonna tell y'all a little bit about. I got an interesting story because I had to confirm with the wife because I couldn't remember at what stage in our relationship, if we was just cool or we were dating, that I was doing some of the wild, wild stuff that I was doing. We're gonna talk about that, but let's go ahead check out this video real quick. Let's check out this video so we can one get a good laugh. Oh, let me give a shout out to the channel too before I get on. It's called like Hood TV Production. That channel name cool as hell. Like you expect them to have some grimy, some grimy stuff on here. But let's check out this video. Then we're gonna talk about it. This is dating. Somebody thinking that a restaurant not meeting their expectation, and let's see how this guy handles it. I'm probably gonna pause it a few times. Video's about 6 minutes. I'm probably gonna pause it a few times because y'all know DFD got a lot of gray hair. If I don't pause it, I might miss something. Let's jump in.
Yes.
Would you want me to open the door for you?
Look.
Are you're recording me?
Yeah. Yeah. This is the Cheesecake Factory. This is the Cheesecake Factory, y'all.
What's the problem with that?
This is a chain restaurant. Who takes someone that looks like this to a chain restaurant?
You want to talk about it?
See, hey, all right. First of all, I'm gonna call cap on this whole video, but let's take it at face value, okay? Dayton, she'd immediately got out of my car. Hey, I'm just saying, I know how I was. If you'd have caught me in my early 20s, I wasn't the refined jokester that I am now. But so two things that I'm not feeling the response. Hey, someone who looks like this shouldn't go to Cheesecake Factory. Like, I would just be honest. I don't know. I don't think you just like. I don't know. I think you all, as much as you're talking about Cheesecake Factory, you're probably about dressed for like Ruby Tuesdays. So. I mean, you want like Ruth Chris dressed up. You're like maybe a notch below Cheesecake Factory, like Checkers. I don't know, but let's go ahead and finish this video.
I'm fine with talking about it, even in front of them.
Oh, yeah, I want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Come on, get up on in the car. Yeah, we're going to talk about it. Oh, okay.
Okay.
So, yes, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
So you expect a man to go all out on the first date. Is that right?
I mean, you're supposed to. When you take out a beautiful woman,
oh my goodness,
and you're courting her, because I get courted. So you're courting her, right? You're supposed to take care of her. You're supposed to cover her. You're supposed to protect her, cherish her, treat her well, right?
Yeah.
That's what you're supposed to do.
I agree. I went into this date as I expect, with the expectations for myself to keep you safe.
All right, let's just look at this image right here that's on the screen real quick. let's just take a look at it. That image that's right there on the screen, and we go hold that again. I'm calling cap on this video, but everybody talking about it. Somebody sent it to me. Let's assume that this video is real, right? This is just my personal opinion. Any woman who would get in the vehicle and immediately have an attitude like that, she never liked you or remotely found you attractive in the first place. Okay, like I never understood that. I even had to ask my wife, and we kind of jaded because we've been married so long. So, ladies, help me. Like, I don't understand why would a woman even go on a date with a guy who she wasn't probably physically attracted to, unless she just want a free meal. Isn't that the only reason? Like, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I just don't see any reason why would a woman go on a date with a guy who she's not attracted to. Like, because if she was attracted to him, I seriously doubt she would get in the car and have all of this attitude and everything. I just can't see it happen. I remember when I met my wife, I remember we was in the military, real young, and I remember, we were just hanging out a couple of times, going to clubs with mutual friends and everything. And I don't know how the conversation came up, and I remember her expressly saying something like, "Okay," she said something like, I don't date younger guys." And I was like, "Okay." Like when she said, "I don't date younger guys," I was like, "Okay." She just never met a guy like me before. I could get over that hurdle. If she would have been like, "Oh no, I just don't think you're my type. I don't find you attractive at all," I'd have kept it moving. But I just don't see why a woman would go out on a date with a guy who just she doesn't like. I mean, outside of a free meal, courting and a date are different in my book. Courting is after a date, right? I feel like courting is like when I'm doing the really, really extremely nice stuff. I think that's different than an actual date. Yep, a free meal. Nah. Yep, boy, she has mistreated him. And it was funny because my wife told me, my wife told me that she knows a person who doesn't even like guys, but every time they go to the club, she have guys buying everybody drinks. Like, I'm like, golly, man, I don't know. Maybe times is just goofier now. And she's like, yeah, she just does that because guys offer to do it. I don't know. I think that's a little bit wild, but I think that's extremely crazy to do. Like if you don't think a guy is your speed, don't even go out on a date with him. For what? It's not going to go nowhere. But dating and courting is different. And the last thing before we play this video is that's wild because I think Cheesecake Factory is actually an upgrade because I'm the type of person, I don't care how much paper I got. Like a first date for me, a first date for me, like I can remember like date my wife. I'll take her to like a hood spot. Like, oh, we're gonna go to this hood spot where the food is mad dope. You don't even got a place to sit in. It's in the hood. You got to get your food and get the hell out. Okay. They don't want you sitting around. You may have to carry a pistol when you go. You got to keep your head on the swivel because the place get robbed every so often. I actually took her to a place like that. Then we had to leave and eat it in the car. Cause like, hey, you just meeting somebody, you can't take them. You're not gonna take, hey, she's not gonna take you back to her spot. Eat it in the car. As after we got to our location where we was gonna go for the second stage. But I think that's wild because I think a date should be kind of creative personally. But let's finish this. And I immediately gave this guy goofy vibes because I don't know. I think he was a little bit too polite for me. He might have been a little bit too polite for me for somebody who got this much attitude.
To respect you.
Oh my gosh, he's the worst.
To pay for your food, of course, pick you up, of course, and just treat you like a gentleman, which I believe I have done.
I mean, you've been pretty nice, but I mean,
and then
Cheesecake Factory.
I, on the other hand, have certain expectations for a girl I go out with on the first date. I expect her to be respectful too. I expect her to be cooperative, and at least
what did I do that wasn't cooperative?
Well, I mean, like even like when we were walking to the car,
that's extremely corny.
I
agree.
Hand around my arm or anything like that, or hold my hand or anything like that.
I mean, it's too early for that.
Okay,
I don't know you.
I can respect that. I can respect that. Okay. When I got to your apartment to pick you up, you didn't want to invite me in. I can respect that too. We're not
again.
I don't know there
yet.
Okay. And then, but
I mean, I feel like I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do as a woman.
But
I got myself
there's
all made
nothing
up.
wrong with the Cheesecake Factory, right?
Yes, there's a lot wrong with the Cheesecake Factory.
Okay, well, look at
Everything that she expects, she wanted right now. But the stuff that he expects of just her like holding my hand when I was walking out, she said we not there yet. I think I did everything I was supposed to do. I got my. It's all about I. But that's a common thing. That's why we got this whole toxic ass red pill, blue pill. What do you bring to the table? Are you gonna make my life better? Oh, that's corny. Like nobody has an understanding of the concept that people have to mutually make each other better. Everybody looking for what's in their own best interest. And I mean, unfortunately or fortunately, however they look at it, that's why a lot of people probably gonna have some long, old ass, boring lives. And I don't think it's cool being in your 70s when your hip hurt, having to bug your kids or some shit. Like, I don't want to be in that situation.
I mean,
look at my plan where we were gonna go originally.
see, now that's where we should have went. All right there. Call him. Call him.
No.
What do you mean no?
This is where I got some faith in the guy. First, I was like, this dude kind of goofy. But when he said no, I was like, okay, maybe he got a little backbone.
I specifically told you both yesterday and this morning that I'd come to pick you up at 4 a.m. At 4 p.m. Right? And I got to your place at 4 p.m. You didn't even come downstairs for another hour. And so I was waiting downstairs.
This dude crazy as hell. All right. 4 p.m. and he waited an hour for her to come downstairs. Looking like that, if you was upstairs for an hour, I expect you to go through a whole metamorphosis. You better come out like you about to walk. Is she? Is she for somebody who an hour late? Like, I don't know. Like, I felt like you could have threw that together. I don't know. Like, maybe it's the attitude is just making the look bad for me. That could possibly it. Hey, but no way. Hey, real quick, let me tell you a quick story. And I had to ask my wife because I didn't know if we were dating or we were just kind of kicking it before that dating stage. Because I don't know if I ever told y'all this, but I'm like kind of a Neanderthal, like maybe when I was in like, I don't know, high school or something was when I overtly would be like, hey, we should date. Want to be boyfriend and girlfriend? As an adult, I did it completely unconventional and I would never recommend it as son. I would just kick it. And then after kicking it for a while, I'm like, okay, we've been kicking it for a while. At some point, I would just make an affirmative statement, letting the other person know that you are my girl, I'm your guy. And they just was like, okay. Like I literally did that because I had to ask. I wasn't sure. I was like, I know I did some wild stuff, but sure enough, yep. My wife had me rolling. She was like, no. She was like, we was out somewhere, and I guess some guy came up to her, and I wasn't there immediately, and asked was she single, and I was like, no. I was like, nah, cuz. I was like, nah, bro, she taken. What you talking about? She just was like, okay. And it just kind of turned into that based off my caveman ways, which aren't recommended. But when it comes to waiting, right? At one point early on, we were going somewhere. And I said, hey, I need you to be ready at this specific time. Okay. I'm outside waiting because I didn't want to go up. She's like, okay, I come down. I'm waiting. Like 5 minutes go by. Yeah, I treat it like class in college. After 15 minutes, you can leave. So 15 minutes came by. She wasn't down there. I had some place to go. I left. So I left. I don't think it was when we were dating. I think it was when we were just kicking it. She said it was when we were dating. I don't know, because if we were dating, I probably would have gave her 20 minutes instead of 15. But in any event, that was probably like the first real discussion we had that I could probably classify as an argument. Good. Needless to say, I'm real. I think when you mess with somebody's time, that's disrespect. It's two ways to disrespect the person: messing with their time and talking to them crazy. Those two things that I just can't take. After we had that conversation, I guess I could say that, hey, anytime we had to go somewhere, she was on time, but she did what you think most women would do. She was always on time. And once we got married, now she always late again. And I can't leave because I'm already vested. But yeah, I understand Buddy's issue because I'm telling you, if we going somewhere, you not on time, I'm not waiting no goddamn hour. I don't care if you Halle Berry, or whoever you want to call it.
I understand.
For an hour, right?
But I wasn't expecting for work to take me so long. I got home a little late. And like I said, I don't know you well enough to invite you up into my apartment. And that is not possible.
And that's why I'm saying, I'm thinking, okay, if we're not there in the relationship to, meet at your apartment, then maybe we're not ready in a relationship for such a nice, fancy restaurant as Aria. Especially if I'm paying for the whole thing, which I'm still willing to do. I would have been, but if we're late, I told you twice.
It wasn't that late.
We literally left your place at the time the reservation was supposed to be. And I specifically said 4 because maybe we could get there early and even have some time to get to know each other on the way there. Nice. And while we're in the parking lot.
I feel like at this point, the potential date is already ruined.
We can still get to know each other. Isn't there another restaurant that's like, equivalent to that? I mean,
I literally
you don't understand. Look at me. I cannot go in the Cheesecake Factory.
There's nothing wrong.
I will die. That's embarrassing.
Listen, as I said, I have very specific certain expectations. I can tell it's not gonna be there. And maybe we're not right for each other. So respectfully, I'm gonna just drop you off at home.
Oh no, he didn't.
Okay. She said, "Oh no, he didn't." All right. So again, hey, at the beginning of this video, I was like, "Hey, this soft-spoken dude is kind of soft, right?" But hey, even though he's soft-spoken, he kind of toughened up. And again, I'm calling cap on this video. I don't know the authenticity, the genuineness of this, but I thought this was interesting when he was like, "You know what? Let's just call it a date." Watch how her tone changed immediately. I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So you just want to call it a night? I mean, isn't there some kind of compromise or something? Ladies, can you believe this?
I'm sorry, y'all.
Now she want to compromise. Nah, it was either A or B. You didn't want A, you recommended B. Now she want to come up with options C, D, and E. This is so crazy. But shout out to him for having a spine. Like, hey, shout out to you, dude.
If I don't feel respected, I am not gonna go through with the rest of the day.
He's a terrible person.
I mean, you are serious. You really leaving?
Now just bitter that she gonna have to make her eat a Lunchable or something. She probably don't know how to cook.
I understand that I was late. I understand that. I understand that I could have been a bit more cooperative. You made some good points. That's why
she knows she about to be hungry.
Are you sure you want to go home?
I don't have a lot of rules. I don't have a lot of expectations for a first date, but I've already set them, and you've broken everyone.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry.
You've broken everyone. Good for you, dude. He even.
All right, whatever.
He even taking her back home, like kicking her out the car.
I understand. You gotta do what you gotta do.
Now she's thinking of what she gonna eat for dinner.
I understand where you're coming from.
Don't change that. That's crazy as hell, right? I call cat. That can't be. That video can't be real. Like, I don't know. I don't know. That video can't be real. There's no way it's real. If that video is real, I think that's crazy and wild because couldn't have been me. And I'm a pretty calm, level-headed guy, but I could be petty too. So like okay, you want to go to Chez Maurice's? I drove to Chez Maurice's, got out, ordered me something, and been like, I don't know who you with. You gotta pay your own bill. But I thought that was crazy. But I don't know. I think that's kind of indicative of our culture, our society. I just I'll be honest. I just think that's just kind of how dating is. I think I can remember at one point, and this was before like Instagram was even popping like that. I can remember going on a date back in the day where what was it that was jumping? I'm old, so it might have been something like MySpace or something. And on their phone the whole time, on their phone the whole time, on their phone the whole time. And if you out with a nice looking woman, other people will let you know, fellas, if your woman look nice. Cause I can remember walking in, other guys was like, they were pointing, giving thumbs up. But I was like, they were on their phone all the time, doing all that stuff. And I think that's just kind of, I don't know. I think that's just kind of how the culture is. He handled it well and didn't get upset. Nah, I mean, yeah, he handled it well and didn't get upset. I don't think I would have got upset. I'm just the type of person like, hey, if something already, if this date is already going downhill, I might as well entertain myself. So I'm not necessarily saying I would have yelled or fussed or anything like that, but like I don't know, like I like to entertain myself. If I could get a good laugh out of it, trust me, I would have found a way to get a good laugh. But I thought that was crazy. Good for him. He left. He left, but he did too much damn talking. Man, guys don't care. Guys watching that like, oh, he was just a simp. I know how to handle her. That's how guys think. Guys don't think like whatever happened to that other dude over there, that was a him problem. That's how guys we all think I mean, y'all don't think like that, ladies. I feel like guys, that's how we think. Like, oh man, that was his problem because he didn't know what he was doing. He was too soft. And so, guys, we generally think independent. So we don't really take into consideration what the other guy did or didn't do. Whatever he did or didn't do, that unilaterally was on him. But I don't know. I think it's just we gotta. I mean, society is just so jacked up. I was just telling somebody like, man, you know what songs didn't age well? Joyner Lucas, I'm feeling like Will. Like, God, like I can remember when everybody was like, oh, Will and Jada relationship goals, and I'm just like, oh, they know. Were they ever relationship goals? Like, yo, we got to stop putting our faith in relationships that we see on TV and see as celebrities, man, because everybody got their own problems. And probably the more wealthy and famous you are, the bigger that your problems are probably going to be. It's been just like, I don't know, it's just been divorce after divorce after divorce, problem after problem after problem. I don't even listen to anything that Jada Pinkett says. Like the meme says it's on the internet, the only Jada that I recognize is Jada Kiss the rapper. Because I don't know, I think it's just absolutely insane like to keep putting your household bit. I don't know about y'all, like, hey, but where I grew up is I grew up in the time where, hey, whatever happened in this house, hey, it's gonna stay in this house, and we gonna figure that shit out, or not figure it out. But it ain't gonna be everybody business. But I don't know. It could be a business thing though. People probably because I think she got a book out. I don't know who the hell would buy Jada Pinkett's book. Y'all really want to read that book? How to Lose a Guy in 1,000 Ways. Like, I don't know. I wouldn't want to read that book, but we got to stop putting faith and expectations in relationships based on what we see from people who are most visible. Don't give a damn about Jeezy, Jada, Will, Beyonce. Man, all of that's BS. Ignore all that stuff. The only people you should probably talk to is like Mr. Jenkins, who been married to Mrs. Jenkins for 60 years. Those are the people I give a damn about. I want to get all the gems from them because I could give a less about what rich people and rich people problems. I can't relate to that. I got to talk about average people with average people problems, and those are the real examples you should get to. In that last video I put up, I talked about ways that you're gonna make a stupid mistake, and one of the most important ones was by asking people for advice who aren't qualified to give you advice. So I think that's it. I think that was a crazy ass video though. It's just a cold game out here. Like, yo, dating is hard out here because everybody feed into all of this social media stuff. Like it's you just won't believe how hard it is for just two people to be like, hey, you got some shit, I got some shit. Let's put our best foot forward. But a lot of times I see people approach it like, well, I'm not gonna do these certain things because these are things that I would only do if I was married, or Like, I don't know. I just find that crazy. I don't understand like what's wrong with you be the best version of you, I'll be the best version of me. We'll put everything together and it work out. And I don't worry about what you bring to the table or what I bring to the table because we just gonna cop this dope ass table and just put shit on it together. But I don't know. Those those are wild. I agree. There's no way that could be real. Uh, she thought she was all that. She wasn't even that like. I mean, she was alright, but like I feel like the last time I went to Cheesecake Factory, I saw women who probably looked better than her and was probably dressed as fly, if not flyer than her. Like you're not above Cheesecake Factory, especially for you to take an hour long. If you take an hour longer, and I actually was stupid enough to sit there and wait for you, when you come down, you better be floating on a cloud with a little cherub floating over your shoulder playing the violin, and you'd better float to the goddamn car. For an hour, like I don't know. I just don't think like okay, she was a decent looking sister, but nah, all that extra stuff she was doing was over the top. Yeah, she did, but she wasn't half of what she said. I agree. I just don't. I don't know. Like I, I've I've seen nicer looking women just like coming from the gym buying groceries, coming from the gym all sweaty and perspiring than her appearance. That's why I don't think that could be real. Because like I don't know. I just can't see the whole thing being recorded like that. And if it was being recorded, what did she record it on? Like, was it a? Because don't when you live stream stuff like that and you go back and replay it, won't you see like the comments and all the people who are watching and giving a thumbs up or a thumbs down or a heart or something like that? I don't know. I call cap on it. But if it was real, hey, shout out to that dude. He was soft spoken as hell, probably a little bit more soft spoken than I can ever be. That dude had the patience of Job from the Bible. Because DFD ain't got it. But if it was real, shout out to him for hey, handling it like an adult, but also having a backbone. Me, I would have probably got more entertainment value out of it. Like it would have been funny to end the date, but it would have been fucking hilarious to end the date after you already drive to the restaurant and be like, I'm not going that way. I stay on the opposite end of town. Like you got to pick your petty, right? How could you be petty with somebody who essentially control all of the cars? You're in his car. He was going to pay for the meal. I don't care where you go. The only thing you do is got yourself together and came downstairs, which is what you would have had to do anyway if you were actually going to go to Subway or wherever it is you normally wait at. But y'all let me know what y'all think about that video in the comments. I think there are terrible people out there, and I think she is one of them. But I think this video is fugazi. Yo, that's it for this video. I appreciate y'all tuning in. Hey, next video on Wednesday, we're going to talk about how to get a 2% mortgage, a 3% mortgage, and this current 8-9 interest rates high as hell right now. But we're going to talk about assumption of mortgage. What man would really allow you to record him that long and disrespect him for the worst? That's what I'm thinking. But that's my thing, right? This is right up there with like, I saw another one where like, I don't know. That's the other thing. Once you watch one of these whack ass videos, a bunch of them pop up. But I saw another one where, like, I don't know. I want to say a lady caught her boyfriend cheating, but she kind of like got her friend to like, hey, act like you like him to see what he do. That's stupid. You play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. But I think all of that stuff is cap. I don't know. I don't think the softest spoken guy would allow a live stream recording of you kind of getting disrespected. I don't even think Job from the Bible, who probably was the most patient man on the planet, like, nah, Job would have been like, what the hell is going on? Yeah, what it say in the Bible? Thou shalt not want. That's what I'd have said when she'd have went to that. I want to go to this restaurant. I'm like, thou shalt not want. Now get the hell out of the car. But I think it's cap. It was all BS. Hey, define your own relationships. Don't end up on these red pill, blue pill. Everybody got a podcast with a bunch of single women sitting on there and some guy giving a stupid ass analogy that doesn't even make sense. Like, yo, all that stuff is corny. Listen to yourself, listen to your partner, listen to the person you're with. That's probably the first and real last person you want to talk to out here. Y'all take care. Y'all have a good evening. Be safe out here. Peace.